Today, I'm sharing the secret recipe for 6 different low-calorie, high-protein bowls. First one is Yakitori Bowl. One of the most popular Japanese chicken dish is yakitori. It's Japanese-style skewered chicken. This sauce is the secret to delicious yakitori, and today I'll teach you how to make a simple yet deeply flavored sauce. First, prepare the green onions. Cut into bite-sized pieces so that they are about the same size when skewered with the chicken. If you do not like green onions, it's perfectly fine to make it with chicken alone. Shishito peppers is often topped quite often when you eat the yakitori bowl at a restaurant. It has a slight bitterness that adds a refreshing touch when eaten with the meat. Make a small slit to prevent it from exploding when you turn on the heat. I had some green onions left over in the fridge, so I will add them to the tsukune later. Chicken is the star of the show today. I bought some chicken for karaage at the butcher shop, but it's a little big, so I cut some for yakitori. I recommend using chicken thigh with skin. That is the secret to a good yakitori bowl. But if you prefer other parts of the chicken, please make it that way. Square the chicken and green onion. I do this because skewering makes it easier to grill and to toss with the sauce. You can also grill them without skewering them. Make sure that all the skin faces are the same side. The most popular type of yakitori in Japan is the chicken thigh, but you can taste the various parts of yakitori at the specialty restaurant. For example, yakitori is made from chicken skin, heart, cartilage, liver, and so on. My favorite is the combination of green onions and chicken thigh that I am currently making. Other unusual parts of the chicken are also unexpectedly tasty, so I hope everyone will try various kinds of yakitori when you have the chance. Cook them in a fry pan. When all the skewers are lined up, turn on the heat. Cook skin side down over medium heat for 5 minutes. Some pans will probably burn, in which case put oil on the pan. I wanted to get a nice char on the chicken skin and green onions, so I cooked them over medium heat. Turn them over. Be careful not to remove the chicken skin. Add shishito peppers to the pan. Put it in the gap. From here, they are steamed and cooked. This is optional, but if you have sake, you can add some. It's effective in eliminating meat smell and tenderizing meat. Steam over low heat for 3 minutes. Turn the shishito over halfway through. After 3 minutes, turn off the heat and remove the shishito peppers. Remove the shishito peppers immediately as they will lose their color. You can make a bowl of rice with just the yakitori you just cooked, but today I'll make one more addition. I'm making tsukune with chicken meatballs. I prepare ground chicken and I mix 2 kinds of that, breast and thigh. Use whichever you prefer. Add grated ginger. Yakitori and tsukune, 2 items served on top of rice, often exist as a yakitori bowl. Today I'll show you how to make tsukune, which is much fluffier and tastier than usual. Panko, potato starch, sugar, sesame oil, chicken stock powder, salt and pepper. The key is to add the egg here. This makes the dough very fluffy. Add green onion if you like. Mix well while mashing the ground meat. Common tsukune is a much firmer dough than this, so it's easier to form, but this is a little harder to form, so use a spoon to make a round shape. Your hands don't have to get dirty, and the soft dough is very tasty. Prepare boiling water. Tsukune is dropped into this hot water. When the submerged tsukune rises to the top, take them out. Tsukune takes a long time to cook in a fry pan, but this way it cooks quickly and saves time. The water used to make this tsukune has a wonderful chicken broth, which will be made into soup later. Next, let's make yakitori sauce. Put soy sauce. I have made yakitori several times before on this channel, but this time I have improved the sauce. Add mirin, sake, and sugar. The ingredients used are almost the same, but changing the formula makes a big difference. My husband complimented me on this one, saying it was not too sweet, it was smooth and tasted just like a restaurant sauce. Remove the yakitori from the pan. Reserve the meat juice in a separate bowl for use in the soup. It's important to lightly wipe the pan clean at this point to ensure that the sauce is well coated. Add all of the sauce and warm slightly. The sugar is hard to mix, so in this way mix well while warming. Return half of the sauce to the bowl before it comes to a boil. Return the yakitori to the pan and toss with the sauce. Allow the chicken to absorb the sauce while simmering the sauce. Turn over frequently during the process. By the way, when you order yakitori at the yakitori restaurant in Japan, you are asked to choose between tare and shio. We always order the tare sauce. If you ask for shio, salt, you will get yakitori, which is simply seasoned chicken with salt and pepper. Both are delicious, but when it comes to yakitori bowl, the seasoning should be the sauce. The amount of sauce has been reduced a bit and the chicken is now nicely browned. Remove the meat from the pan at this point, as further cooking will cause it to become tough. Use the leftover sauce later. Next, return the previously reserved sauce to the pan. Add the tsukune and toss in the sauce. The dough is fluffy and easy to toss with the sauce. Since I made a lot today, I'll store the leftover tsukune in the fridge and arrange them in other dishes. Finally, nori goes well with yakitori bowl, so let's prepare this. Nori is very fragrant and tasty when lightly roasted over a fire like this. My husband always asks me to do this step. Any shape can be used, but cut into small pieces with scissors. Serve rice in the bowl and pour a little sauce over the rice. Spread nori seaweed. Place tsukune and yakitori. Shiso peppers can be placed on top for a beautiful colorful look. Finally, pour the sauce over the meat and it's done. A yakitori donburi like a restaurant is ready. Next up, I'm going to make Niku-Tofu Bowl. It's basically a Japanese beef bowl, but with the addition of tofu. Originally, meat and tofu are served like this without rice, but it's super popular in izakayas, Japanese pubs. Today we'll serve this dish rice bowl style. It's pretty much made the same way as a beef bowl, but since we're adding tofu today, I've adjusted the flavor a bit. I always include onions because they add such a lovely sweetness. I cut them into wedges just like this. Then I prepare the tofu. I like using firm tofu because it holds its shape better when it's cooked. Traditionally, this dish is made with beef, usually beef brisket. But today I'm using pork leg because it's lower in fat. I actually served this in the microwave and it looks a little weird because I think I overheated. You can use pork fillet for an even healthier option, but I couldn't find any thin slices, so I went with pork leg this time. If you are not worried about calories or fat, definitely try it with beef. A little bit of fat in the beef makes it extra delicious. Now that we have all our ingredients ready, let's get cooking. First, I add sugar and water to a pot. Don't turn on the heat yet. The amount of water is half the amount of sugar, so if you turn on the heat too soon, it will evaporate quickly. Mix the sugar and water together until they are well combined. Then turn on the heat. Heat it over low or medium heat, stirring constantly until it starts to bubble. When you start to smell a nice caramel-like aroma, turn off the heat. Be careful not to cook it for too long and turn it into actual caramel. This caramelization step adds depth and richness to the sauce, creating a complex and flavorful dish. Once you turn off the heat, add the mirin and white wine. Turn on the heat again and stir well to cook off the alcohol. Boil for about a minute. In Japanese, we call this process nikiru. It helps to remove the alcohol flavor and make the dish even more flavorful. After boiling for a minute, turn off the heat and add the remaining seasonings. Add the soy sauce, salt, consomme, dashi powder, water, grated ginger, and grated garlic, and mix well. Now add the onions and cook them. Onions take longer to cook than meat, so cook them first. I like my onion to be pretty soft, so I add the pork when the onions are almost cooked. If you prefer your onion with a bit more crunch, you can add the pork as soon as the mixture starts to boil. Once the pork is cooked, add the tofu. Do not include the part of the water that comes out when the tofu is placed in this way. It will dilute the flavor. You can add the pork and tofu at the same time if you prefer. Cook the tofu for a little bit to let it soak up the sauce. Tofu is a great source of protein and it tastes amazing when it's soaked in this flavorful sauce. Make sure to flip the tofu over so that it's evenly coated in the sauce. After cooking the tofu for about 2 minutes, turn off the heat and let it sit. Meat can become tough if you overcook it, so it's best not to cook it for too long, especially since we are using pork leg. The flavor will continue to develop as the dish cools, so if you have time, let it sit for about 30 minutes to an hour. I usually let mine sit while I go for a run. It looks like the flavors have really come together. When I'm ready to eat, I'll reheat it on the stove. My husband loves beef, so he asked me to make it with beef next time. To make this a low-calorie, high-protein bowl, I'm going to line the bottom with cabbage and reduce the amount of rice. This dish actually goes really well with cabbage. I think I'll put the tofu in the middle to make it look cute. For a bit of color, I'll top it with some kaiwara daikon sprouts and some grated ginger on top of the tofu. I'll finish it off with a sprinkle of nanami togarashi. Red pickled ginger would also go great with this dish. Next dish is shoyu chicken and egg bowl. First, let's prepare the edamame. After lightly rinsing with water, sprinkle with more salt and rub in. In this way, the hair on the surface of the edamame are removed. Frozen edamame is good, but these fresh edamame are exceptionally tasty. In particular, this edamame with the tengu mark is our favorite. Prepare plenty of boiling water and boil edamame for about 3 minutes. It's better to stir the mixture during the process. Edamame is a great choice for today's theme because it's a great source of vitamin and has by far the highest protein content of any vegetable. After draining the hot water, allow them to cool slightly before removing beans from their pot. Of course, you can use frozen edamame. If not available, use your favorite vegetable instead. Broccoli is a good substitute. I use it as is, but I think it tastes better if you sprinkle a little salt on it. To lower the calorie content of this meal, certain efforts are made. Prepare shredded cabbage. Wash thoroughly and wipe dry. This ginger will be used for today's main ingredient, chicken. Cut the ginger into stripes. Put the ginger in a fry pan. Add seasonings here: sake, soy sauce, and sugar. The key is to use more sake. There are 4 main benefits to using sake: removing the smell of meat, improving flavor penetration, softening ingredients, and adding richness and flavor. In this case, I will use breast meat. Stretch the skin thoroughly. Place skin side down and cook. When sauce comes to a boil, reduce heat to low. Cover and simmer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, turn over and cook for another 10 minutes. This is called chicken simmered in shoyu, soy sauce. It tastes a little different from teriyaki. You can enjoy the distinct flavor of soy sauce, and the taste is more refreshing than teriyaki. When chicken is cooked, cut. If the chicken is pre-cut into small pieces, cooking time is shorter and the flavor soak in better. Return the chicken to the pan off the heat and toss with the sauce. The sauce is cooked down at the end and poured over just before eating, so here it only needs to be lightly marinated. After lightly marinating both sides, remove the chicken. The sauce will not thicken easily if left as is, so add a little potato starch. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of potato starch in the same amount or slightly more water. Add a little at a time to thicken the mixture. Do this over medium or high heat while heating thoroughly. Finally, the eggs are cooked. You can cook it any way you like, but I would make it into a fried egg like this. It's called iri tamago. Put rice in the bowl. Use less rice and add cabbage to bulk it up. Place an egg on top. Chicken can be used skinless to further reduce calories. The edamame and egg on top provide plenty of protein, and most importantly, they go great with this chicken. I thicken the sauce at the end so that this sauce is well mixed with the chicken and tastes great. Next up, I'm going to introduce you to this umami-packed shrimp miso bowl. Combining shrimp and miso might sound a bit unusual, but my husband absolutely loved it, so I wanted to share it with you all. Instead of just a simple miso flavor, with a little tweak, you can create a whole new, rich taste. And there's a little something extra special about the rice, so stay tuned. First, let's finely chop the onion. I was originally going to use green onions, but I forgot to buy them, so I used onion instead. And you know what? It worked perfectly. I think either one would be delicious. Next, let's cut up the tomatoes. These tomatoes are the key to our sauce today. They don't overpower the dish at all, but they add a really nice depth of flavor to the miso sauce. I usually peel the skin off, but you don't have to. If you make a cross-shaped cut on the skin and blanch them in boiling water for a bit, the skin comes off really easily. Cut the tomatoes into small pieces. Now let's prepare the shrimp. After cleaning the shrimp, pat them dry with paper towels and put them in a bowl. Add some potato starch and sake and mix well. If you don't have sake, white wine works as a substitute. The sake helps to remove any fishy smell from the shrimp, and the potato starch will help thicken the sauce later. Let's make the sauce beforehand. First, prepare the miso paste. You can use any kind of miso paste you like. Add sake, mirin, soy sauce, sugar, and grated ginger. Mix well. This miso paste already has dashi in it. If you don't have miso with dashi, and if you like a dashi flavor, you can add some dashi powder. Heat some oil in a fry pan and fry the onions. Once the onions are softened, add the shrimp. Let's add some garlic powder now. You could add grated garlic to the sauce we made earlier, but I decided to add it directly to the shrimp. Either way works. Since we added a little bit of potato starch, it will start to thicken. Cook for about a minute. Then add the tomatoes. And then immediately add the sauce. The tomatoes will release some water, so cook it down until the sauce thickens. The miso sauce and tomatoes will come together to create a super flavorful sauce. Once the sauce has thickened and the shrimp is cooked through, it's done. You can definitely serve it over plain fried rice, but today I want to get in a lot of protein, so I'm going to make edamame rice. Add edamame to cook rice. You can add as much as you like. You could just add a pinch of salt, but today I added a little bit of dashi powder, soy sauce, and sesame oil. Mix well. My husband tried this shrimp dish with the edamame rice and said it was an amazing combination. It's great to be able to eat something so delicious and healthy and get a good amount of protein too, right? I'll serve it in the bowl lined with cabbage. The tomatoes completely fell apart, so I added a few slices of fresh tomato for color. Next one is 4-color bowl. First, prepare the okra. Rub the salt into the surface. This way, it seems to remove the tiny hairs on the surface of the okra. Once everything is coated with the salt, let it stand for a minute or so. Place in boiling water and boil for 1 minute. By the way, okra is also called okura in Japanese. When I told my friend who did not know its English name before, she was surprised. Drain the okra from the hot water and let cool slightly. This is then cut into smaller pieces. Is okra readily available in your area? If this is difficult, substitute green beans or snap peas. Spinach or broccoli might also be a good choice. Since okra does not absorb flavors well, it's best to make it first and let it soak in the flavors. Add mirin, soy sauce, dashi powder, sugar, and salt. Okra is a very tasty ingredient that is slightly sticky and has both softness and crunchiness. Next, let's cook the salmon. I was worried about it getting burnt, so I laid out a parchment paper. I'll pour a little sake over the salmon. I think the salmon will be cooked fluffy. Cover and cook for 4 minutes. Cook the other side over low heat for 4 minutes. This is already salted, but sprinkle a little salt on it before grilling if necessary. The level of saltness of Japanese salmon varies greatly depending on the product. So I have to look at the package carefully and taste it as well. After removing the bones and skin, break up the salmon. This salmon was not so much, but it can contain a lot of bones. Add butter and ponzu sauce. Ponzu is a very refreshing and delicious sauce made from soy sauce, rice vinegar, citrus juice, and so on. If you can find ponzu sauce online or elsewhere, give it a try. Next, prepare the seasoning for chicken. Make grated ginger and add soy sauce, mirin, sake, and sugar. Mix well. I'll cook the ground chicken in a well-oiled fry pan. We are using chicken breast. We have been using it a lot lately because it's healthy and a good source of protein. Regular chicken can be used instead of ground meat. Add the sauce you just made. Mix well, breaking up the meat with a spatula so that the sauce is well balanced throughout. Clean the fry pan. Heat the oil well again and cook the eggs. Speaking of high-protein bowl, eggs are a must, right? A small amount of sugar was added when dissolving the eggs. I recommend it because just a little bit is not very high in calories at all and makes the egg taste really good. Eggs cooked in iron fry pan taste somewhat better than usual. After serving the rice, arrange the 4 ingredients neatly. I would suggest putting many of your most favorite ingredients on top. The okra also soaks up the flavor nicely and is delicious. I'm happy to enjoy both salmon and chicken. It could be adapted as a bento menu. Next one is shrimp and chicken Oyakodon. Slice the onion. Add as many shrimp as you like. The balance of chicken and shrimp can be changed to your liking. I always bought frozen shrimp, but today I succeeded in getting very tasty fresh ones. Once the chicken is cut and the ingredients are ready, the sauce is made. Add 3 tablespoons of water. Add sake, mirin, soy sauce, sugar, and dashi powder. By the way, today's ingredients make about 2 servings. If you want to eat more, double the quantity and make twice as much. Mix seasonings well, dissolve sugar and other ingredients, and bring to a light boil. Add onion. Both onions and chicken take a certain amount of time to cook, so they are put together. By the way, I removed the skin from the chicken this time to make it healthier. After cooking for 1 minute, add the shrimp. If you include shrimp rather than chicken alone, the shrimp adds a nice broth that makes the dish truly delicious. This is a great method to take it to another level without increasing calories. Cook for about 2 minutes. Then turn the chicken and shrimp over. The shrimp should be cooked through in a minute. So remove them as soon as they are cooked through to prevent hardening. Once the chicken is almost cooked, turn off the heat and sear it with a kitchen torch. It can add a savory flavor similar to that of the restaurant Oyakodon. Sprinkling a little salt on the chicken before searing is even better. Turn on the heat and prepare the beaten eggs here. Bring to a boil again to reduce the liquid slightly. When this amount of liquid is reached, return the shrimp. And add the eggs. No seasonings added to the egg. 2 eggs are used. Immediately after adding the eggs, cover and cook for 1 minute. Finally, mitsuba leaves are added. Mitsuba doesn't require cooking, so it's added at the last minute. If you have access to fresh eggs, you can top the yolk at the end. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you are already a subscriber and would like to support our channel, please join our membership. Membership feedback will be reflected in content creation. See you in the next video.